Wherever you are around the world, good afternoon, good evening, whatever is the time, wherever you are around the world. This morning, I want to briefly talk about the peace that was brokered between the feuding parties in Rivers State, between the camp of former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, and the incumbent governor, Simi Fubara. The peace was brokered on Monday, the 18th of December, 2023, by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the presidential villa. Now, that peace that was brokered was contained in 8 points resolution, which was signed by Fubara, Nyesom Wike, and others. Now, let us look at the 8 points resolution that was reached. And then I will now tell you why the Ijaw Nation is likely to reject this peace accord. Now, according to the resolution, 8-point resolution reached during the peace accord, they said that all matters instituted in the courts by the governor of Rivers State, Sir Fubara, and his team in respect of the political crisis in the state shall be withdrawn immediately. They also said that number 2 resolution was that all impeachment proceedings initiated against the governor by the Rivers State House of Assembly shall be dropped immediately. Number 3 resolution was that the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly, as led by Right Honorable Martin Emehulen, shall be recognized alongside the 27 members who resigned from the PDP. Number 4 resolution was that the remunerations and benefits of all members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and their staff must be reinstated immediately, and the governor of Rivers State shall henceforth not interfere with the full funding of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Number 4 resolution was that the Rivers State House of Assembly shall choose where they want to sit and conduct their legislative business without interference and or hindrance from the executive arm of the government. Number 6 resolution, the governor of Rivers State, Sir Fubara, shall represent the state budget to a properly constituted Rivers State House of Assembly. Number 7 resolution was that the names of all commissioners in Rivers State Executive Council who resigned their appointments because of the crisis in the state shall be resubmitted to the House of Assembly for approval. Number 8, there shall not be a caretaker committee for the local government in Rivers State. The dissolution of the local government administration is null and void and shall not be recognized. Now, these are the resolution that was reached and obviously signed by Fubara. But this resolution is likely to be rejected by the Ijaw Nation. And because this resolution is an unjust resolution, because this resolution ties the hands of the governor of a state, and no agreement, no resolution should be superior to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the first place. Now, the Ijaw Nation has been rallying around Fubara because this is the first time in 24 years that an Ijaw Nation, somebody of Ijaw extraction, is becoming the governor of Rivers State. And you can see how the Ijaw Nation, both within Rivers State and beyond, had been rallying around Fubara since he had been, they have been literally terrorizing him with powers from Abuja. They have been solidly behind him. Now they have signed a peace accord in Abuja. That peace accord is almost like the Aburi Accord that Gowon signed and later came back to Nigeria and rejected it. I expect nothing less than that from the Ijaw Nation, because if this agreement is allowed to stand, it means that the Ijaws have not yet come to power. They have not yet come to power in Rivers State. It means that the Ikweres are still in charge, because from the content of the resolution, you can see that even Fubara cannot even sack his commissioners. A right that was given to Fubara by the Constitution to hire and fire has been taken away from him by this resolution. They are telling him that he must reinstate these commissioners that resign. And invariably they are telling him he cannot sack his commissioners. He cannot change his commission. He must stick with the commissioners that was handed over to him by Nyesom Wike. Now, when the Ijaw Nation was looking for a change to produce a governor, that was not what the Ijaw Nation was bargaining for. The Ijaw Nation wanted one of their own to show that they are equal stakeholders in Rivers State. That was why, despite everything, the shortcoming that led to Fubara emerging as governor, because Fubara was not the only Ijaw person that contested in the March election. The APC candidate himself is also an Ijaw person. So there was a unanimity that power should go to Ijaw person. Because that election, head or tail, Ijaw wins. But from what is happening now, the Ijaw lost. And that is not what the Ijaw Nation want. They want one of their own to be in power, and they execute. It's not that they want him to be there and be unjust to the rest of the state. But it is unfair on the Ijaw Nation that at the time it is the turn of one of their own to produce governor, his hands had been tied by this agreement that was signed in Abuja on Monday. He cannot therefore execute the powers of his office. Governors all over this country, from Imo State to Sokoto State to Bayelsa State, they can dissolve their local government councils. But Fubara had been told he cannot dissolve such. Fubara had been told that he cannot even conduct local government election by this resolution. And he has been told that he cannot change his cabinet. He cannot reconstitute his cabinet because they are putting it on him that he shall accept those commissioners that resign, should accept them back. That resolution is something that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was governor, he cannot take it. Nyesom Wike, when he was governor of Rivers State, cannot take it. Already, Tinubu has told his members of his cabinet that if they don't perform, they will be sacked. And he even had a special advisor who is having performance record of the ministers in his office, in his own office. But he's pretended over an agreement where Fubara mortgaged the right to hire and fire that was given to him under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And they think that they have brokered peace. And they think they have brokered peace. Where is that done? They have eroded the powers of Fubara, taking away all that makes him a governor, and made him an ordinary errand boy. And I don't think that the Ijaw Nation, I don't think that as today breaks, this a day after that resolution, I expect the Ijaw Nation, you see that they will speak out today. You see that they will reject that peace accord which tied the hand of Fubara, because that is not a sustainable peace. That is not an enduring peace. That is not a peace that is based on fairness, justice, and equity. When the Ikweres were running the country, were running the state, from Peter Odele to Nyesom Wike to Chibike Rotibiamechi, none of their hands were tied like the hands of Simi Fubara right now. Simi Fubara had been made an ordinary figurehead by that resolution. And I asked myself, how are they going to enforce that resolution? Because that resolution is full of shall. Shall means Fubara has no other choice. Fubara has no choice. Is filled with shall. And you know what shall means in law. But the good news is that that resolution cannot stand higher than the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which empowers Fubara as the executive governor of Rivers State, and indeed as it empowered all other governors across Nigeria to hire and fire. So it will be surprising if people of Ijaw Nation allow that resolution to stand. And I do not think that they will allow it to stand. They are going to show that it cannot stand. Fubara should be allowed to run the state according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I believe strongly that this law, this resolution, is not superior to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This resolution is a mockery of democracy. It's a mockery of rule of law. It's a mockery of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is something that, as I said earlier, Nyesom Wike cannot take it when he was governor. Tinubu cannot take it when he was governor of Lagos State. None of these two people will accept it, but they expect Fubara to accept it, to run with it. I can tell you for free that the people of Rivers State will reject it. And look at the people that were there. These are people who are too cozy to Nyesom Wike, people like Peter Odele. So they have just literally intimidated the young man, and he signed that kind of agreement in Abuja. But I can tell you for free, from my perception of things, that as day breaks today, that the people of Ijaw Nation and most people from Rivers State would reject this peace accord that was brokered by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It wasn't a peace accord that was brokered in the interest of real peace. It was all politically motivated. Because look at it. It's all tied down to the idea of making sure that Rivers State is in the pocket of APC, looking towards 2027 presidential election. If not for that, I don't think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will superintend over this kind of agreement that was a mockery of the Constitution, a mockery of the powers of a governor, that a former governor will be in Abuja and telling the incumbent governor when he can sack people in his cabinet and when he cannot, telling him when he can dissolve local government council that Nyesom Wike, when he was governor, can dissolve anytime he likes. Local government councils that Ozodema in Imo State dissolved immediately. Supreme Court announced him as the governor of Imo State, which is typical all over the country. But Fubara cannot be able to do that. He has signed away the right to do that. But whatever he signed, I believe that the Ijaw Nation will reject it. And whatever he signed in Abuja is not superior to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which empowers him to hire and fire. And they are also dictating to him how the assembly shall be run. In other words, what it means that if Fubara agreed with this agreement, he will just be sleeping one day and wake up and hear that he has been impeached. Because all powers had been handed over to the other camp. Most of the powers have been handed over to them. If they are to abide by this resolution. So it is something that I think the Ijaw Nation will reject. I think most people in Rivers State will reject it, because this is in the interest of one man and not that of the state. That is what it means. It is in the interest of one man, Nyesom Wike, and not in the interest of the state. So it is a fact that no reasonable person will accept it. No reasonable person will concur with it. Even those who made Fubara to sign it, if they had signed it themselves, they will not abide by it. If for any reason Tinubu, as governor of Lagos State, were to sign this kind of agreement, when he gets back to Lagos, he will not abide by it. He will consider it an unjust law. He will consider it an unjust resolution, because they have stripped him of his powers as governor. They have stripped him of his capacity to govern a state, to govern a people that elected him. And he is therefore on his own, without any powers. But I'm sure that when Fubara left Abuja back to Port Harcourt, he will be fuming. And when the people of Rivers State and the Ijaw Nation began to understand what was contained in those resolutions that was signed away for peace, they will know that the peace that was signed was not sustainable peace. It is the peace of the graveyard, because that peace did not take into cognizance the feelings of the Ijaw Nation and the feelings of the Rivers State people. The Rivers State people, their own interest can be pushed aside because of the interest of one man, because of the political ambition of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027, and the political relevance of Nyesom Wike at the national level. Because truth be told, if the fight between Fubara and Nyesom Wike has exposed Nyesom Wike, he has shown that the power he's wielding, the reason he's relevant to Bola Ahmed Tinubu is diminishing. The reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave him a juicy position as FCT minister was because Tinubu was hoping that whatever magic he performed that made him against all odds to win Rivers State, win in quote, in the 2023 presidential election, that he could be able to help him repeat it in 2027. But with what is going on in Rivers State right now, it is becoming obvious that his capacity to be the dominant force in Rivers State has been diminished by what happened now, because Nyesom Wike mismanaged his godfather and godson relationship with Fubara. Like I keep saying, look at how Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the godfather in Lagos, managed his fractured relationship with Ambode. When Ambode was not following his dictates, he watched Ambode and he was able to give Ambode a space to operate. But once Ambode finished his 4 years and was looking for a second term, that was when Tinubu struck. He struck and Ambode didn't get second term. Now, you would expect that Wike should have done the same thing. Just because Fubara changed 1 or 2 commissioners, he panicked in Abuja and started raising impeachment issues about the man. Meanwhile, the constitution was very clear on the grounds that you can impeach a governor. There was no indication of any misconduct by Fubara, but impeachment resolution proceedings was beginning to emerge in the state. He panicked because it's an indication that he was not sure about his hold in that state. But you can see that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was careful in that of Ambode. He waited. But this Wike could not wait, because apparently it's an indication that the so-called structure he claimed that he hold, he doesn't really hold it. Because if you are so sure of your structure, the way Bola Ahmed Tinubu was, he waited. Wike would have waited until Fubara would like to do second term. Look at what is happening in Benue State. Are you aware that the Reverend Father, who is the governor of Benue State, he has fallen out with the secretary to the federal government, who brought him to power? Of course, the secretary to the federal government brought the governor to power, not because he loved the governor, but because the man was a Reverend Father who was very popular, and he used the popularity of the Reverend Father to dislodge the PDP in Benue State. So it's not that he loved the man or anything special. It was because the crowd, the people, when they saw the face of a Reverend Father becoming their governor, and with all the mess that have been happening in Benue State, they rallied around him, and the people of Benue voted for him. But they have fallen out. But you don't hear it. Already there are fights going on, subtle fight in Benue State. But the secretary to the federal government had been quiet about it. He has not made any noise in the media. Perhaps he's also bidding his own time, so that he will show Governor Alia where he stands when Alia would like to do second term. But Nyesom Wike overreacted immediately, apparently not too sure of the structure, the so-called structure that he had in Rivers State. And now he has gotten of course, he had always had the support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and they have made Fubara to sign an agreement that has literally stripped Fubara of his powers. And this is not what the people of Rivers State want. They don't want somebody who will be, while as a minister in Abuja, and the same person will be running their state. That is not what Rivers people want. That is not what any state in Nigeria would like. And the Ijaw Nation had been struggling to produce a governor since 1999. And this is their best shot so far. They have gotten the coveted trophy, but they cannot enjoy the trophy. They cannot look at that trophy with joy, because that trophy is a reminder to them now that they are not first-class citizens of that state. That when it is their turn to be governor, their governor cannot perform, cannot execute the powers of his office, cannot execute the powers assigned to him by the Constitution, because he signed away his powers in a resolution. But that is by the way. That signing, that resolution in Abuja cannot take away his powers as the governor of Rivers State. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria gave Fubara a lot of powers, and I expect the Ijaw Nation to rally around him and ensure that he executes the powers of his office, including to hire and fire commissioners. How can you tell a governor that he cannot sack his commissioners? Those who resign and said all kinds of things about him, he will take them back. So the powers of a governor to reconstitute his cabinet as he deemed fit in the interest of the state has been taken away from him. And people expect that it's a just peace, and people expect that so that is not possible. People should not expect that Fubara should obey this resolution, because this resolution has taken away his powers. This resolution has eroded his powers as governor, and I don't think that Fubara at the end of the day will take it, because when he is by himself, he will realize that Nyesom Wike will not take this type of resolution if he was governor of the state. He will also realize that Bola Ahmed Tinubu as governor will not take this kind of resolution. And when the Ijaw Nation examine this resolution, they will know that they cannot allow their son to take this resolution. They are going to tell him to reject it. They are going to tell him that it is not in his interest to abide by this resolution, that he should govern the state according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and according to the powers vested in him as the governor of the state, and not according to the godfathers, both the godfather from Lagos and Godfather from Rivers State. Because the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria gave a lot of powers to the governor. The same powers to hire and fire, the same powers to execute his office as the chief security officer is the same power that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is wielding in Abuja. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is wielding in Abuja is nationwide. But when it comes to the geographical territory known as Rivers State, the person who the Constitution recognized for the next 4 years to wield the power is Simi Fubara and not Nyesom Wike. Nyesom Wike is a minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and that is what it should be. Fubara is the governor of a state, superintending over a state, elected by the people. Nyesom Wike is an appointee in Abuja. He should not be dictating to Rivers people, especially to the governor, on how to run the state. That is as simple as ABC. This thing is not rocket science. It is something that everybody should understand and appreciate. And I believe strongly that as the day breaks today, the 19th of December, the people, the Ijaw Nation, you're going to hear their reaction, and you're going to see that it is in tune with what I'm telling you right now in this life, because an unjust peace is an unjust peace everywhere. What the Queres cannot take, what Wike cannot take, what Tinubu cannot take, they shouldn't expect the Ijaw Nation and Fubara to take it. Thank you, and God bless you for being part of this live stream. And I wish you all the best. And we pray for the best for our country, Nigeria. And we hope that the right thing will be done. Sustainable peace that will ensure that the law is followed, peace that will be acceptable by men and by God himself. Because when you have unsustainable peace like the one brokered in Abuja, that's tantamount to the peace of the graveyard. It's not an enduring peace. A peace in which the interest of a whole state is mortgaged for the satisfaction of one man is not a peace that can endure. Thank you, and God bless you.